Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aaron Cavley, and these are the further adventures of Russell Miranda, Gunslinger. And uh, it looks like my shirt and appearance and everything else is the same as in the last video. It's kind of because it is. I decided to just do a double fur because, well, because I was just having a good time. All right, so they've ridden into town. The mine owners, or the mine owners, but the miners noticed them. And as the miners have stopped working, they're kind of gawking. The uh, you see a man comes out um, from one of the nearby buildings. Get my notes back up here. And the Russell and Irving are now riding into town. And before they kind of just stood at the edge of town and took in the sights. And they got closer. As they're riding closer, the man comes out. Obviously, some kind of foreman. He's dressed nice. He's got the nice vest on, and looks like uh, Russell notices what looks like a little the glint of a chain hanging to a watch, which is kind of a rich person's thing. And as they can kind of hear the conversation, and this guy finally one of the workers points down the road at the approaching gunslingers. And how is he going to react? Because this is none other than Dennis House. He's the one that asked for the gunslingers to show up, but they kind of took their own time about it. So I'm going to use the uh, general demeanor. Okay, disposition. So one is negative, six is positive. Again, using my awesome solo rules from Tricube Tales. Let's see. Oh, okay. All right. He's pissed. He is pissed. He he balls his fists up and he starts storming down from his office to meet them in the main street. Let's see what his general. Okay, 6-1 for his general demeanor. Okay. So he's normally relaxed, calm. So he's gonna be one of those guys who's calm and pissed off. And so after he balls his fists and shakes up in the air and initially starts storming down the way, Russell notices that the man kind of gets control of himself. He seems to uh, he slows his pace down a little bit, and he looks like he takes a deep breath or two. And he meets them at the main street. Welcome, gunslingers. It's a surprise to see you. You were kind of expected a long time ago. But he makes his manners, and he taps his throat and uh, gives the courtesy bow. Are you Dennis House? Russell says. Ah, so you have heard of me. That is wonderful. It's so wonderful that you've heard of me and finally decided to visit our poor town of Bone Ridge, where children go missing. Apparently, not a concern to the affiliation. Irving shakes his head, obviously trying not to roll his eyes, and he looks like he's about to say something smart. Of course, being the upperclassman as he is, he takes insults a little to the established order, to the dream of Gilead. He takes them a little more seriously than Russell, the poor guy, does, because he's there, he's on the other side. So Russell can sense that Irving's about to make a smart comment, and he just gives him a glance and holds his hand up just barely. We're sorry, Mr. House, it has taken so long for us to get here. There are a lot of things going on in Gilead right now. But Felix Kane has made sure to send us out. The gunslingers are out in force, cleaning the land, trying to restore order. And he apologizes for the delay. But we're here now. So we're here. We want to help you. We want to help find your child. Well, I don't think you'll find him because it's been several weeks. Then perhaps we can find out what happened to him, or at least bring the perpetrators to justice. Ah, justice. Justice is serving the affiliation loyally for decades, and then having your request for your missing child answered promptly. That's justice. I understand your frustration. You do not, boy, do not call me a boy. I am a gunslinger, and you will show me respect due my position. And we can either do this the hard way or the easy way, Mr. House. I'm here to look for your child, whether or not you like it. My orders come from Felix Kane. That means they come from the affiliation. They come from Gilead. You can either help me, help you, or you can get the hell out of my way. Dennis kind of pulls himself back, with the reminder that he's talking to a gunslinger. He's not talking to some cowpoke. He's not talking to some bounty hunter. He's talking to someone here with the authority from Gilead. And he again, he takes a deep breath and he says, "Yes, of course. I apologize, Cy Gunslinger. May I have your names?" "I'm Russell Miranda. This is my partner, Irving Lowry. And I swear to you, Mr. House, that we will do everything in our power on the name of the Eld to find your child." "Yes, thank you, of course." "Well, my manners, please, please, follow me." He turns around and he shouts back up towards the work crew, and he yells orders for someone to make sure that the work gets back and to stop lollygagging and staring. Um, and he orders someone to take charge, probably a foreman or sub foreman or something like that. And he leads the gunslingers through town, and of course they get, when people see the big irons on their hips, they take notice. They know that someone is there, like the equivalent in this world of a lord. And so people stop and stare, bow as they ride by, and Dennis leads them to uh, a nice house that is at the end of the street. Looks like it's been there for a little while, but it's freshly painted. It has a lot of decorations. The columns are nice colonial looking columns, and Dennis helps him tie their or well he doesn't, but his he he waves to somebody, and a younger man comes out and he takes the horses and he leads them around the side to a stable, and he invites the gunslingers in, and uh, Dennis and Irving, they kick they use their hats to knock the dust off their boots before they go into this nice house, and they see another. Uh, a woman comes, and Dennis takes her hand and says, "Dear, these are the gunslingers that we asked about. They're the ones that we asked about so long ago. Please, don't. Yes, of course." And she smiles, and she's she's still pretty, but she has these very striking greenish eyes that uh, Russell notices right away. And let's decide what her demeanor is. 6-4. Okay, so stoic or apathetic? I think stoic. So I think she's stoic. So that will be maybe she always has been. That's kind of what I picture. I picture she's kind of one of these tough frontier ladies. Um, and she has dealt with her son going missing stoically. So I just rolled up using the solo rules. I rolled up the kind of personalities, reactions of Dennis and Penny. So Penny looks at the gunslingers and she gives them a bow and says, "Please, you must be thirsty from your trip. Come, let, let me serve you up some lemonade or some ale." And so she leads them forward. Dennis, motions and for them to go first, and they all head um, to the parlor. She brings out after a moment. She brings out cups of um, lemonade or ale, and let's see, and they all take ale. They all have a ale. It's not the best, but it's still pretty good. So Russell thanks thanks her and uh, says, "As I've explained to your husband, things are going on. There's a lot, and we are sorry that we were not sent here earlier, but we're here now, and we would like your help. We are under the orders of Felix Kane to find your son." "Oh, thank you." And she gives kind of a distracted smile, and she sets the drinks aside, and then she sits down um, next to Dennis on the divan on the other side of the parlor. "Now, what I've heard was that you believe this hermit named Samson is responsible. What makes you think that? Do you have proof?" "Yes, of course we have proof. That's why we went up there. He came down, as he does sometimes when he needs supplies. He lives in a hut some, I don't know, miles away. He leaves us alone. He comes down. No one really goes up to his place because no one wants to see what kind of strange dark magic those Manny are up to, as you know that they do. And when Dennis says this, Penny kind of gives him a sidelong glance, but then returns to smiling at the gunslingers absently or politely. It looks absent, but it's just her trying to be polite. And he came here several times asking if he could hire our son. Well, our son's certainly not old enough to be going off with some Manny or anyone really off into the hills. How old is your son? He's 8. David is 8. And he stops to dab a tear from his eye. Excuse me. And then our son went missing. When Samson left the next morning with his supplies, as he normally does the last time he was here, our son went missing. We immediately followed. And the trackers, you can ask Bernard. He's our village. He's our town tracker. He's very good. And he pointed out the tracks that Samson was walking with a child. So he immediately gathered up a posse, and we went racing up there once we realized. Now, of course, it had been a little while, and we weren't really sure when they left. But we went up there, and the tracks just disappeared at the old man's cabin. We searched, we dug around for secret passages. The posse went. Bernard sent the posse everywhere, looking for them, and there was no signs, no traces. And let's see what kind of scene we're going to be dealing with. Oh, jeez. Okay. Another ace. Another face card. Well, we'll go with it. I've kind of come to the conclusion that when there's, or the decision that when there, like I've been getting, when there's a bunch of these face cards that come up without giving the chance to ever even resolve or start a scene, I'm just going to skip past them until I get a scene of some kind. Or at least no more than one kind of face card. Now, what do we got? A 4. The 4 is a new location. Okay, so let's see where our new location is going to take us. It would make sense. The new location, really, the new location probably should be that guy's hut. So, probably say that's where we're going. All right, so instead of coming up with some random location, I'm just going to say that the new location is going to be the hermit's hut. All right, and we're going to be. I'm going to take that to mean that we're going to go straight there. All right, well, let's start there then. Russell says. Is it easy to find? How do we get there? Well, yes, it's easy to find up the trail. Let me send my boy with you. He can lead you to the end of town, and he can lead you to the path that leads up to the old man's place. I don't think he'll want to go himself, though, of course. All right. Well, no time like the present. Thank you for the beer, ma'am. She smiles, and they get up, they mount up, and the stable boy walks towards the edge of town, out of town for a mile or two, and through some some rolling hills. They're still in the foothills, so it's not super hard to navigate anything just yet. And they get to the end, and he says, "Up that way, mister." And he points to a gully that runs up a it does actually start climbing a mountain of sorts. You just follow that. You won't miss it. It'll be right up there. You'll see it up on the top well before you get to it. It's a mighty spooky looking place, sir. And then he takes off running back towards town. Russell and Irving exchange glances and head on up. Let's see. Let's see if anything interesting happens on the way up. I'm going to say that something interesting will happen on the way up. Let's see what kind of scene we get. Okay. An easy crafty challenge. Okay. All right, I'm going to say that it's just a matter of getting lost. They walk up and they can see where the well, maybe not that. I think we're gonna make it. I think they're gonna be ambushed. Yeah, but whoever's doing the ambushing is not all that great. Otherwise, it wouldn't be easy. So they're riding up, and it really does. The gully does look like a natural pathway. There's a stream running down, but it's shallow. But along it are rocks that are flat and almost stair-like. They're not like they've been carved or anything, but they're just natural rocks that are flat and big enough. It's easy enough to ride the horses up. But little do they know that someone's watching them. So this is going to be a easy craft to notice the ambush or not. Okay, so that's a good success. So as they're walking along, as they're trotting, even over the motion of the horses and the noise of the horses, um, Russell can tell they're being watched by somebody. And he glances over at Irving, and he can tell that Irving has noticed too. And so they try to they try to surreptitiously glance around, and uh, he kind of acts like he's scratching, but leaves his hand. He sets his hand on his thigh, close to his big iron, as he continues to guide up there. And then he sees it. He sees a uh, hmm. Yeah, he sees a creature, or he sees something move in the shadows, and he hears a twang, the twang of a crossbow, and he jerks to the side. Since they saw it, I'm gonna make it, since he had his extra success and everything, I'm gonna make it easy for him to kind of lean out of the way of this crossbow bolt. Okay, so it comes close. He ducks over in his saddle as the bolt goes whizzing by, and he pulls out his big iron and he fires back. He fires at the shape. You can't really see it, but he's taking some shots at it. Whoever was trying to, that was not a warning shot. That bolt would have hit him if he had not moved away. So that shot's going to be in agility. Even though he saw it coming, I'm going to say the guy was ready to move, and he's already moving through this heavy brush. So I'm going to give it a difficulty of 6 as he draws his gun and he fires a couple shots. I'm going to spend a karma to change that 5 into a 6, or to reduce the difficulty to a 5 using that big irons perk. So as he comes back up in his saddle, having dodged the crossbow bolt, Russell he slaps leather and whips out his big iron and sends 2 shots up the gully, the sound of it echoing through the mountains. The bullet hits and the target stumbles and falls and lands. He was kind of up on the side of the gully. He falls and he lands in the center, kind of in the water. Let's see if he's dead. Okay. No, so he's not dead. But he's hit, and as they get closer, now they've both got their guns aimed towards the guy. As they get some details, he looks he's dressed very simply. He's wearing a dirty blue cloak and homespun clothes. And Russell notices that he's holding the man's holding his thigh and groaning and kind of gritting his teeth. And he says, what's the idea of shooting on a representative of Gilead? You forgotten the face of your father? Are you a harrier that I should put a bullet in your head? Speak now or die. That's not normally how Russell thinks about things, but he's pulling on his gunslinger training and the stories of the heroic gunslingers that they're used to seeing. Let's see. Will that guy talk? So they want to get information out of this guy. Should I make a scene? I don't know. Oh, he's already made a scene. He just shot the dude. Okay, you know what? I am a scene change. Yeah. Let's see what that gives us. I don't know if I'll run with it or not. 1. Okay, so it's positive. There's a scene change. All right, so I guess we'll come up with a new scene. Standard crafty challenge. All right, so he's gonna try again. He gets the Russell gets off his horse, and while Irving stays on his, still covering him, Russell still got his big iron out, and he closes in on this guy who shot him. As he gets closer, you can see it's a man. He's got a long beard and a kind of a wizened old face. And next to him there is a crossbow, what is sometimes called a ba in the series, if I recall, or at least in one of the areas it's called a ba. And there's a small, it looks like there's a small quiver next to it. This only got 2 or 3 bolts in it. So he walks and he keeps the gun pointed at this person, and he says, "Who are you, and why did you do that?" Let's see. Let's say Crafty's fine since he's trying to convince this guy to talk. He's trying to intimidate. But instead of making it brawn, I'll go with the card, make it a Crafty challenge. And 2 die 6, with the possibility of maybe being able to spend a karma because of the big irons, maybe. Okay. So the man looks up at him. He can barely. He's very hairy. He's got super thick unibrow and like a big old white man, like mountain man kind of beard that's just going wild and going everywhere. His blue cloak is stained and dirty all over, and he says, "Thou can't have the chosen one. Thou are here to stop Tahira. Thou are here to stop them, aren't you? We know you are. Go back. Go back to your world. Leave our world. Leave us." "Did you take the boy?" "You can't have him." "All right. So you do have him." The old man, he glowers up, but he doesn't say anything else. He can't really he can't really move, not very fast anyway. He knows he can't get up. He's got a big hole in his leg that's still bleeding out. "Tell me where the boy is." "It's none of your concern." And let's see, we did get a change scene positive for us. Let's see what our new scene is. See how we can work that in here. See, that's what I'm talking about. All right, well, I'm just ignoring that. I just need a scene. I don't need a face. Okay, all right. Really, I guess I've really got to dig in to see what's up with that. I mean, I did modify those cards and everything, but okay, standard brawny challenge. Okay. So the gun, Russell, deciding that the old man is pretty harmless now. He kicks the crossbow away, and he's holsters his pistol, and he says, "Well, you're not going to be able to tell me much if you bleed out, are you?" And so he reaches down to try to bandage the old man's leg. He pulls his knife out, so he's going to cut the cloth open, and the old man screams and says, "No, don't touch me!" And he lunges at Russell with these long, gnarly fingernails, and it may have been why he missed his shot. Well, no, he missed his shot because Russell moved, but they're very long and gnarly, and he gets this wild look to his face, and he leaps forward, and he's a lot stronger than he looks. He's not some frail old man. He pushes Russell, kicks Russell back, and leaps after him, and Russell is he's going to fight he's going to try to fight him off with his knife. All right, so I'm gonna say he was kind of surprised, but he's brawny, so I'll give him as he tries to fight off the initial uh, swiping of the man on these claws here. Okay. All right. So he manages to keep the man's claws away from his face. He grabs one of the wrists, and the man has gone crazy. He's making these bestial sounds. So he's just gonna try. He's gonna try to get his knife at the old man's throat to see if he can see some reason and stop. Mm, okay. So he's not able to. The man's just going crazy, and Russell is not able to get the knife or get into a position, even with his his bulk. He's not able to get in position to where the old man calms down enough to listen. And so now the man's on top, and Russell's trying. He's trying not to kill the old guy. One, because he doesn't really want to kill the old guy, and two, because this guy obviously knows something about where the kid went. Let's see. What is Irving doing? Is he otherwise occupied? Something else happened? Let's see. Yeah, all right, so Russell hears Irving start yelling uh, off down the way from where he's at, and Russell can't really take a minute to even look because he's trying to fight this old guy is trying to shove these gnarly claws into his eyeballs. Um, but Irving is yelling, "You get down! You get down! You get back!" And so Russell at least knows that there's something else going on, but he needs to care of the old guy. He's going to try to like just knock him in the side of the head with the hilt of his knife. Or punch him. Basically, do anything except put the blade in the old guy. Okay, so he manages to he grabs one of the old guy's wrists and he jerks him sideways and he brings the pommel of the knife down onto the back of the guy's head and he slumps. He slumps unconscious, stunned, moaning. Even his moans sound very bestial. And so Russell jumps up to see that there are a couple other people in these blue cloaks are are trying to pull Irving from his horse, and Irving is trying not to. Uh, he's trying to go for his gun, but he's also trying to stay on his horse because it looks like there's two or three of them. They must have snuck up on him. And now Russell, he knows that that they can't afford to be overwhelmed right now because he doesn't know anything about these people. They were obviously waiting for them, so he's got his knife in one hand. He's going to draw with his other hand, and he's going to try to shoot one that's trying to pull Irving out of his saddle. Okay. Oops. So 4 and a 6. All right. So he with a single boom he hits one of the guys in the blue cloaks in the side of the chest, right under his right in his armpit where he's trying to haul Irving off, and and it's another older looking guy. His hair's not quite so white, but it's very his beard is wild. His eyebrows are thick, and his nails are very gnarly too. And it blood immediately starts pouring down the hole, and he falls to his knees, and he calls out something in a language that they don't understand. They know the word Na'ar. It's it's an old world word, and a lot of languages use it. It's the word for hell in the languages of Midworld, or at least a lot of the main languages of Midworld. After the old man falls to his knees and collapses with a bullet in his side from Russell's gun, Irving pulls out a gun, or manages to pull out one of his revolvers, and let's see, does he get a good shot off? I'll say it's pretty likely. Yeah. So he pulls his gun out and he shoots one who's trying to pull him. He basically just puts his revolver right up into the middle of his face and blows his head off. And that old guy in dirty blue cloak falls back, almost like his body just went limp like a sack of potatoes. Falls back, and the last guy, he just disappears. He's gone. Irving and Russell were both getting ready to swing their guns over to him, and the guy there's like a little sound of bells, of chimes in the distance, and that guy's gone. Irving and Russell, they look around. And they don't see anybody. In fact, Russell takes a quick look back, and he doesn't even see the old guy that he knocked out. That guy's gone. Oh, damn it. So Russell and Irving, they get seated back on their horses. Well, Irving never fell off, but he rearranges himself so that everything's back where it's supposed to be. And they scan the woods. They look for tracks, and they can see where the brush and stuff was disturbed when where they came out and attacked initially. But they don't see tracks where that guy left, or where anyone came and um, drug the unconscious guy off. But the dead guy is still there, and Russell, very cautious now. He puts his knife away. He's got his revolver in one hand, and he examines. And the guy's dead. The bullet went right through all his vitals. There's some blood has run down his whitish beard, but there's nothing that tells him anything. There's no clues or no hints. Or is there? Let's see. Five. I'll say a 6. Say a 6. There's something useful. No. Okay. So there's nothing useful. The guy has, looks like he's got some kind of like a couple throwing knives or something, some kind of knives. He has a bunch of them, so he assumes they're throwing knives, but they're not really good quality. They're kind of beat up. They look old and tarnished. They're not particularly sharp. But they would have done Irving for if they'd managed to pull him off his horse. And Russell looks up at Irving and says, I think they're some kind of Manny folk. Manny folk don't act that way. They're pacifists. They never do anything like that. Well, I guess maybe they don't, or maybe they didn't used to. But look at that. They got the blue cloaks. Look at those nasty fingers. I didn't even think about it first. From what they said, they don't. But for what they taught us in training, the Manny don't do anything with their nails, except for like once or twice a year or something. And the look on his face, and that language that he spoke, this old feller here before he died. Well, it would make sense, Irving says, kind of scratching his chin. He said old Samson up on the hill is supposed to be a manny, but I guess there's something seriously wrong going up there. So Russell nods and he reloads his revolver, hops back up on his horse. Well, I guess we'll see. And they continue riding up, very careful, hands on the butts of their pistols now. And they get to the part in of the trail where they look up and they can see the house that the little boy had described to them, and it does. It looks almost like it's staring down at them. The way the crooked windows and the are, it looks almost like a face staring down at them. And even though the sun is up, there's some clouds in the sky. It seems almost dark. It almost seems like it's in a shadow of some kind, but it's not in a place where it should be in a shadow. Well, I sure don't like this. Yeah, me neither, Irving says. He said Tahira. Have you ever heard of that? No, I haven't. Well, I guess this Samson fellow will know. Yeah, and he kicks his horse up. They go a little bit farther, and Russell says maybe we ought to tie up the horses and go up a little more quiet like. Irving smirks. Quiet like? Russell, we just shot some people. Those gunshots echoed all the way from here, probably back to Gilead. We ain't sneaking up on nobody. Russell kind of purses his lips and says, yeah, I guess that's true. All right, well, let's go. And so he doesn't quite go into trying to charge up the hill or anything, but he gets his pistol ready, and they ride around up, and the house disappears from their trail or from sight just for a couple of minutes as they get to the top, and it kind of rounds around, and they come around, guns ready, their horses, pushing their horses, and they see the hut, and we'll call it there. We'll see what they see next time. We'll figure out what they have, what they're actually facing up at the house of Samson. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't stutter too much. I know I did, but I hope you enjoyed it anyway. So, happy gaming.